Have you ever wondered why the tears come most freely when no one else is watching? Have you noticed that your deepest weeping seems to arrive in the stillness, in the solitude, when the world has turned its face away and you are left with nothing but the sound of your own breaking heart? There is a terror in that aloneness, a fear that whispers you have been forgotten, that your pain is insignificant, that you are crying into a void that does not care. But what if I told you that in those very moments when you believe yourself most abandoned, you are in fact surrounded by a host of witnesses whose attention is fixed entirely on you? You are sitting on the edge of your bed in the dim light of evening. The tissue box beside you is nearly empty. Your phone lies face down because you cannot bear to see that no one has messaged. No one has called. No one knows the weight pressing down on your chest. You taste salt on your lips. Your throat aches from the effort of keeping silent, from the years of swallowing grief, from the exhaustion of pretending everything is manageable when in truth you are barely holding on. You recognize this moment because you have lived it before. You know the feeling of crying so hard that your body shakes, of wiping your eyes only to have them fill again, of wondering if this sorrow will ever lift, or if you will carry it forever, like a stone in your center. This is not random. What you are experiencing is not a sign of weakness or failure. It is not proof that you are unloved or that God has withdrawn His presence from your life. The tears that fall when you are alone are not falling into emptiness. They are falling into the cupped hands of angels who have been sent to stand watch over you in your most vulnerable hours. Your confusion, your sense of abandonment, your fear that no one sees or cares, all of this is being transformed even now into a sacred calling, an invitation to understand that you are never as alone as you feel, that your suffering has caught the attention of heaven itself. Saint Seraphina bore witness to this mystery during her own nights of weeping. She writes in her journal, "When I wept alone, I felt a warmth beside me that had no earthly source, and I knew I was held." She understood what so many of us forget, that our private tears are seen, that our hidden grief is known, that the moments we believe ourselves most isolated are often the moments when we are most tenderly accompanied by those who dwell in the presence of God. When you cry alone, something shifts in the unseen dimensions of reality. The angels who have been assigned to guard and guide you draw closer. They do not intrude upon your grief. They do not demand that you stop weeping or that you find immediate comfort. Instead, they create around you a field of grace, a sacred space where your soul can release what it has held too long. In that space, your tears become prayers. Every sob, every shuddering breath, every whispered question to the darkness is heard and received as an act of profound honesty before God. The angels attend to you not because you are performing strength or projecting faith, but precisely because you have laid down all pretense and allowed yourself to be fully human, fully broken, fully in need. This is the soil in which grace takes root. Your vulnerability becomes the very ground upon which heaven can build something new within you. Are you beginning to see that what you thought was your greatest weakness might actually be your greatest gift? The ability to feel deeply, to grieve fully, to cry without restraint. This is not a flaw in your character. It is a sign that your heart has not calcified, that you have not numbed yourself to the pain of the world or to your own pain. You have been chosen, not because you are strong enough to carry everything alone, but because you are tender enough to let yourself break. God does not need warriors who never falter. He needs souls who are willing to fall apart in His presence, who trust that they will be gathered up again, who understand that tears are not the opposite of faith, but often its most honest expression. You are called to this path of sacred sensitivity, to be someone who feels the ache of separation from God and who allows that ache to draw you closer to Him rather than drive you into despair. But how do you know that what you are experiencing is a divine touch and not merely the weight of mental exhaustion or circumstantial sorrow? The distinction lies in the fruit that follows. When your tears are held by angels, when your solitary weeping is witnessed by heaven, you will find in the aftermath a strange peace that does not depend on your circumstances changing. You will notice a clarity emerging, a sense that something has been released, that a burden you could not name has been lifted, even if the situation that caused your tears remains unresolved. You will discover within yourself a deeper compassion, not only for your own suffering, but for the suffering of others, a recognition that everyone you meet is carrying a hidden grief, and that your willingness to face your own has made you more capable of holding space for theirs. This is how you discern the movement of grace, not by the absence of tears, but by the transformation that happens through them. When the tears come and you are alone, you can silently pray this phrase: I am seen even now, El de venere loved through this breaking. You do not need to pray it perfectly. You do not need to feel anything in particular when you speak these words. Simply offer them as a quiet acknowledgement that you are choosing to trust, even in the darkness, that your weeping is not wasted, that someone is listening, that you are not crying into a void. There are holy beings whose entire existence is oriented toward noticing your struggle. They do not tire of watching over you. They do not grow impatient with your repeated falls or your recurring sorrows. The saints who have walked this path before you, the angels who are fashioned to serve those who will inherit salvation, they are aware of you in ways that transcend human awareness. They see the effort it takes for you to get out of bed when depression wraps around you like a heavy cloak. They see the courage required to keep praying when it feels like your words go nowhere. They see the battle you fight in secret, the temptations you resist that no one else knows about, the kindness you extend even when you are barely holding yourself together. You are supported by an invisible company, and their support is not contingent on your performance. It is given freely because you belong to God and because heaven is invested in your becoming. Every small act of faith you perform in secret is seen and treasured. When you choose to whisper a prayer, even though you feel nothing, when you open the scripture even though the words seem distant, when you reach out to help someone else even though you are drowning in your own need, when you resist the urge to numb your pain with substances or distractions and instead sit with it, allowing it to teach you, allowing it to soften rather than harden you. These are the hidden victories that matter most. The world does not celebrate them. No one gives you an award for crying out to God in the middle of the night. No one sees the moment you decide to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. But heaven sees. The angels record these moments as acts of extraordinary bravery, as evidence that grace is working in you, as proof that you're becoming someone who can carry the presence of God into a world that is desperate for His touch. Thus you have been given these tears that come when you're alone. They are not meant to be the end of the story. They are a doorway. Through them, you are being invited into a deeper communion with God, into a relationship that does not depend on you having everything together or feeling strong all the time. You are being invited to know Him as the God who draws near to the brokenhearted, who saves those who are crushed in spirit, who collects every tear in a bottle because not one of them is insignificant to Him. When you weep alone, you are entering into a mystery that the angels themselves long to understand, the mystery of a God who would choose to be present in suffering, who would allow Himself to be wounded out of love, who would descend into the depths of human pain so that no one would ever have to face that pain truly alone. Your tears are joining you to His heart. They are teaching you that weakness is not the opposite of holiness, but often its prerequisite. They are preparing you to be a vessel of His comfort to others who will one day sit where you are sitting now, wondering if anyone sees, wondering if anyone cares. Are you beginning to understand that your isolation is not abandonment, but apprenticeship? You are being trained in the secret places. You are learning what cannot be learned in crowds or in moments of triumph. You are discovering that God is not most present when you are performing well, but when you are falling apart and still reaching for Him. This is the wisdom that will sustain you through everything that is coming. This is the foundation that will hold when everything else shakes. The transformation is already underway. You may not feel it yet. You may still wake up some mornings and wonder if anything has changed. But something is shifting in you. The tears are doing their work. They are washing away the false self, the persona you have constructed to please others or to meet expectations that were never meant for you. They are revealing the true self, the one God has known from the beginning, the one He is calling into being through this very process. You are not alone in your weeping, because your weeping is itself a form of communion, a language the soul speaks when ordinary words fail, a bridge between your human frailty and the divine mercy that is always reaching toward you. Do not wait to acknowledge what is happening. Leave a comment below and tell me, when do your tears come most freely, and what do you need heaven to see right now? Your answer matters. Your voice matters. There are others reading who need to know they are not the only ones who cry in secret, and your willingness to speak may be the very thing that gives them permission to stop hiding. Subscribe to this channel so you do not miss the teachings that are coming, the wisdom that Saint Seraphina and others have entrusted to us, the truths that can change everything about how you understand your pain and your calling. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it today, someone who is sitting alone right now wondering if their tears are falling into a void. Someone who needs to know that angels are present when we are crying, that God is near to the brokenhearted, that our hidden grief is seen and held and transformed into something sacred. Do not wait. The time is now to step into the truth of who you are and what your suffering is preparing you to become. More teachings from Saint Seraphina are coming. More insights into the hidden workings of grace. More invitations to see your life through the lens of heaven's attention. But for now, in this moment, Wherever you are, takabrea. Close your eyes if you are able. Place your hand over your heart and feel it beating. You are alive. You are here. You are seen. When the tears come again, and they will come, remember that you do not cry alone. Remember that angels gather close when we are at our most vulnerable. Remember that every tear is a prayer. Every broken sob is an act of trust. Every moment of solitary weeping is a moment when heaven bends low to be near you. You are held. You are loved. You are not forgotten. And through your tear, you are being made into someone who can carry the light of God into the darkest places. Someone who knows from experience that He is faithful, even when we cannot feel Him, even when we are crying alone.